You can sweep your floor every day, but if the dust in your heart remains untouched, you will still breathe in the same poison. Before you clean a room, you must first recognize that it is dirty. If you walk through life pretending that the floor beneath you is spotless, you will never think to pick up the broom. Many people live this way, not because they don't have pain, but because they fear looking at it. Denial feels safe. It allows you to keep walking without stopping, without acknowledging the weight you drag behind you. But what you ignore doesn't disappear, it festers. The stains of your past will not vanish simply because you close your eyes to them. They will remain, waiting for the day you finally decide to look. Think of a neglected house left closed for years. At first glance from the outside, the walls look strong, the windows clean. But when you step inside, the air is stale, dust clings to every surface, and cobwebs stretch across the ceiling. That's what happens to the inner chambers of your mind when you never open them to light. You may look fine on the outside, smiling, working, playing the part, but inside there are rooms you have not dared to visit for years, and yet those rooms shape you. They dictate your moods, your choices, even your dreams. The dirt you refuse to see is still part of the home you live in. Acknowledging the mess is not a sign of weakness. It is the birth of strength. Anyone can pretend, anyone can hide behind a curtain of "I'm fine." But to stand still, take a deep breath, and admit, yes, my past is messy. Yes, I have wounds. Yes, I have made mistakes. That requires a bravery most never dare to touch. The moment you name your dirt, it begins to lose its power over you. Why? Because the things you face directly cannot ambush you from behind. This is where many people get stuck. They confuse acknowledgement with surrender. They think, if I admit I'm broken, I will always be broken. But the truth is the opposite. A builder cannot repair a wall until he first says, "This wall has a crack." A gardener cannot remove weeds until she first says, "There are weeds here." Naming the problem is not an act of defeat. It is the first act of victory. By naming it, you have already begun to take back control. And here is something most forget. Not all dirt in your past is ugly because of what you did. Some dirt came from storms you never asked for, betrayals, losses, and wounds you did not cause. Accepting the dirt means accepting the whole truth, not just the parts you blame yourself for. Sometimes life itself leaves footprints on you. This is not your shame to carry, but it is your responsibility to clean. Because whether the dirt came from your own hands or from the hands of others, it still lives in your house, and it is still you who breathes it in every day. To accept that the dirt exists is to step into the role of the caretaker of your own soul. You become both the owner of the house and its cleaner. You say to yourself, "This is my space, my mind, my heart. If there is dust, I will find it. If there are stains, I will see them." You no longer fear opening the door to the attic of your past, because you know that every cobweb can be removed, every shadow can be lit, and every room can be made livable again. This is where the cleaning begins, not with the broom in your hand, but with the courage in your eyes to see exactly what needs to be cleaned. When you first begin cleaning your past, you may want to scrub every single mark away until it looks as though nothing ever happened. This is a dangerous illusion. Some stains will fade, but some are carved into the grain of your life. They will not vanish, no matter how hard you try. This is not a sign that you have failed. It is a reminder that the past is not a piece of paper you can erase. It is more like wood. Every experience leaves its own texture. You must decide which marks to polish and which to accept as part of the design. This separation, the understanding of what can and cannot be changed, is a skill that will save you from endless frustration. Imagine trying to remove a scratch from glass by pressing harder and harder with a cloth. In the end, you may crack the entire pane. The same is true with your past. If you attack the unchangeable with force, you risk breaking yourself in the process. There is strength in knowing where to stop. There is wisdom in learning to bow to certain realities, not as a sign of defeat, but as an act of peace. What can you control? You can control your response, your choices today, the way you tell your own story, and the meaning you attach to what happened. You cannot change the actions of others, the fact that something happened, or the time you lost because of it. Too many people burn their energy fighting the fixed, when that same energy could be used to transform the changeable. If a storm tore the roof off your house years ago, you cannot stop the rain that fell, but you can build a stronger roof today. The choice is always yours. Here's the hidden trap. When people cannot accept what they cannot change, they keep reopening the same wound. They replay the moment, they relive the hurt, they keep asking, why did this happen? Long after the answer would serve no purpose. This is like leaving a broken window uncovered, allowing the wind and rain to keep entering. The pain stays alive not because the event continues, but because you refuse to let it belong to the past. The moment you separate what's beyond your control, you begin to close that window. Separating the changeable from the unchangeable is also an act of respect for yourself. It says, my energy is valuable, my time is precious, I will not pour it into a bottomless well. This is not coldness, it is clarity. You are not giving up. You are stepping back from a war you cannot win, so you can fight the battles that matter. If a gardener spends all day shouting at the clouds to rain, the flowers will still die. But if she spends that same day watering them herself, the garden will live. The difference is in choosing where her effort goes. And when you finally draw this line in your own life, something shifts inside you. The burden becomes lighter, not because the past has changed, but because you have stopped carrying the weight of what you could never lift. You walk differently, you breathe differently, and when you look back, you no longer see an endless list of if only. You see the clear outline of what was yours to change, and you see that you changed it. The rest, it belongs to the winds of time, and you let them take it. Many believe they are processing their past when, in truth, they are only rehearsing it. They play the same memory like a favorite song, except it's not music, it's pain. Every time they press play, the details grow sharper, the emotions grow heavier, and the wound grows deeper. What they don't realize is that reliving a memory doesn't free you from it. It chains you to it. Like carrying a heavy stone in your pocket, you may grow used to its weight, but it still slows you down with every step you take. Think of a fire that has long burned out. The flames are gone, but the ashes remain. If you keep sifting through the ashes, you'll cover yourself in soot. Your clothes will darken, your hands will stain, and soon you'll forget you were ever clean. This is what happens when you keep revisiting a hurt that no longer exists except in your mind. The pain is no longer in the world. It lives only in your constant replay, and yet you wear it as if it were still fresh. To release the weight, you must first understand the difference between remembering and reliving. Remembering is like looking at a photograph. You see it, acknowledge it, and put it away. Reliving is like stepping back into the moment, breathing the same air, and feeling the same wound as if it were happening right now. This is the trap. Your mind cannot heal if you keep dragging it back to the battlefield. The body remembers stress. The heart remembers hurt. Every reliving is a reopening. There is an important truth here. Letting go is not the same as forgetting. Some people resist release because they think it means erasing the memory or dishonoring the lesson it brought. But release does not erase, it transforms. It takes the sharp blade and dulls its edge so you can hold it without bleeding. It takes the heavy stone and sets it down so you can keep walking without strain. You still know it happened, but it no longer rules the rhythm of your heartbeat. One way to practice release is through conscious closure. Write down the memory, speak it aloud to an empty room, paint it, sing it, do whatever it takes to pull it from the prison of your mind and give it form in the outside world. Then, when it stands before you, not inside you, you can thank it for its lesson and set it aside. This act tells your mind, I have taken what I needed, the rest can go. It is a gentle but firm declaration that you are not a container for endless sorrow. When you truly release the weight, you will notice something remarkable. The past will still exist, but it will no longer feel heavy. You can recall it without your chest tightening. You can speak of it without your voice shaking. You can even smile at it, not because it was beautiful, but because you survived it. This is the gift of release. It frees you not only from the moment itself, but from the years you would have spent reliving it. When you clean an empty room, something interesting happens. If you leave it bare, dust will gather again. The same law applies to the human heart. Once you've removed the dirt of resentment, guilt, or pain, you cannot leave the space empty. If you do, the same emotions will return, like old weeds finding their way back through the cracks. The act of cleansing is only half the journey. The other half is filling the cleared space with something alive, something that feeds you instead of draining you. Imagine removing all the weeds from a garden and then walking away. You might feel satisfied for a moment, but without planting new seeds, the soil will not remain empty for long. Nature abhors a vacuum. It will fill the space with whatever finds its way in first. And here is the truth. Your mind works exactly like that soil. If you do not plant love, compassion, gratitude, or purpose after removing pain, bitterness and old patterns will take root again. It's not enough to remove the dirt. You must grow something better in its place. Replacing the dirt with new life requires intentional action. You cannot simply say, I will be happy now, and expect happiness to sprout from nowhere. It means consciously choosing what to invite into your cleared space. That might mean learning a new skill, practicing daily gratitude, surrounding yourself with better people, or engaging in work that uplifts you. Every positive action you take is like a seed planted in the soil of your mind. With time and care, these seeds become roots strong enough to keep the old weeds from returning. This step is also about changing the direction of your focus. When you spend years looking at the dirt, your vision becomes tuned to find more of it. But when you begin to fill your space with life, your eyes learn to notice growth instead of decay. You start to see opportunities where you once only saw obstacles. You feel energy where you once felt heaviness. This isn't just an emotional shift, it's a reprogramming of your inner environment. And like a house filled with fresh flowers, it changes not just the look of your mind, but the air you breathe every day. The most beautiful thing about this process is that the new life you plant will often grow in the exact place where the dirt once was. A deep wound can become the root of deep wisdom. A failure can become the foundation for a skill you never thought you'd master. A heartbreak can become the soil for compassion you can now offer to others. The place where you were hurt the most can become the place where you grow the most if you plant with intention. Replacing the dirt with new life doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. You don't forget what happened, but you no longer see it as wasted space. You see it as the ground that prepared you for the flowers, trees, and fruits now growing in your heart. And that is the ultimate victory, not just to remove what was toxic, but to transform the space into something that breathes life back into you and into everyone you meet. The past is not a fixed monument, it's a living archive that grows with each day. Every conversation, every mistake, every choice adds another page to the story. If you don't maintain it, the small hurts and disappointments of daily life will pile up, layer upon layer, until you're buried under years of unprocessed emotions. That's why cleaning your past isn't a one-time act. It's a daily practice. Just as you sweep the floor before dust becomes grime, you must clear your heart before resentment hardens into bitterness. Think of a river. As long as it flows, the water remains clear. But if it's blocked, even for a short time, the water becomes stagnant and foul. Your mind is the same. When you let feelings flow out daily, they stay light and manageable. But if you let them collect anger, regret, self-doubt, they settle like silt at the bottom of your being, making the whole system heavy and sluggish. A daily ritual is the flow that keeps you clean. This doesn't have to be complicated or ceremonial. It could be as simple as taking 5 minutes at the end of each day to reflect and release. Ask yourself, what am I carrying from today that I don't need tomorrow? Then let it go, consciously and deliberately. This could mean journaling, sitting in silence, walking in nature, or even just breathing deeply while visualizing the weight leaving your body. What matters is not the form, it's the intention. You're telling yourself, I will not let today's dust become tomorrow's burden. A daily ritual also prevents the overwhelming task of cleaning years' worth of emotional clutter all at once. Think about the difference between washing a few dishes right after dinner and tackling a mountain of crusted plates after a week of neglect. One feels light and easy, the other feels exhausting before you even start. Your past works the same way. When you clean as you go, you avoid the crushing task of sorting through years of unresolved pain. The beauty of a ritual is that it becomes automatic over time. At first, you might have to remind yourself to pause and clear your mind at the end of the day, but eventually, it becomes as natural as brushing your teeth or locking your door at night. And just like those habits, it's not just about the moment itself. It's about the long-term protection it gives you. A clean heart attracts peace the way a clean home invites comfort. Most importantly, a daily cleaning ritual isn't about perfection. It's about attention. You're not aiming to never collect any dirt. You're committing to never let it stay long enough to harm you. Even on the days when you feel tired or distracted, even when you don't have the strength to do much, doing something small, a single breath, a short reflection, keeps the flow alive. And in that way, the dust of the past never gets a chance to settle into the foundation of your life again. When wood is newly cut, it is rough, uneven, and full of splinters. But over time, a skilled craftsman can sand it, smooth it, and polish it until it shines. Your past is like that piece of wood. In its raw form, it may be jagged with pain, marked by mistakes, or scarred by loss. Left untreated, it will remain rough to the touch, snagging at your heart every time you brush against it. But when you work with it, when you smooth it, when you learn from it, it becomes a surface that reflects light. This is the art of transformation, taking the very moments that once dirtied your life and turning them into something that strengthens it. A wound can make you bitter, or it can make you wise. A betrayal can make you guarded, or it can make you discerning. A failure can make you afraid, or it can make you skilled. The difference is in whether you choose to let the past sit on you as dirt or use it as polish for your character. Dirt weighs you down, polish makes you shine. Using the past as polish means seeing your scars not as flaws to hide, but as proof of survival. Think of the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold, making the cracks the most beautiful part of the object. Your past can be your gold. The cracks in your life are not signs of weakness. They are spaces where light can enter and wisdom can grow. If you hide them, you hide your growth. If you embrace them, you display your strength. But this is not a passive process. It's a deliberate choice. Left on its own, the past will settle into dust. To turn it into polish, you must handle it with intention. That means asking, what did this experience teach me? How did it change me? How can I use it to help myself or others? Every time you draw a lesson from an old wound, you are sanding away a little more of its roughness. Every time you turn pain into empathy, you are adding another layer of shine. What's remarkable is that once your past becomes polish, it no longer feels heavy. You can touch it, talk about it, even laugh about it without it cutting you. The memory is still there, but the sharpness is gone. It's like handling a stone that once bruised you. After years of tumbling in the river, its edges are smooth, and you can keep it in your pocket as a reminder, not a burden. This is the power of working with your past instead of against it. And here's the beautiful paradox. The very things you once wished had never happened can become the things you are most grateful for, not because they were pleasant, but because they shaped the best parts of who you are. The dirt that once clouded your spirit has been transformed into a polish that lets your true self reflect more clearly. And in that reflection, you see not just who you are now, but the journey you took to get here. And that journey, polished by time and intention, is worth every step. So, when you walk away from here today, remember this: your past is not a prison, it's a workshop. In your hands, it can remain a pile of dust, or it can become something polished, something that glows with the lessons you've lived. Cleaning it is not about erasing what happened. It's about freeing yourself to move forward without dragging yesterday's dirt into tomorrow's home. Every day, you have a broom in your hand. Use it. Sweep away what no longer serves you. Plant something new where the weeds once grew, and when you look back, let it be not with regret, but with gratitude, because even the dust you cleared away made space for the life you have now. The past is part of you, yes, but it does not have to be the weight you carry. It can be the shine you wear, and the more you clean it, the brighter you will walk into the future.